Hey, welcome in everybody. In case you don't know, I'm Scott Stewart. Got Wade Neely here with you. We're Pulaski Citizen, PulaskiCitizen.com, and Pulaski Citizen Live. We appreciate you guys coming on and checking us out. Wade and I are, we're just going to talk about some stuff today. Wanted to talk about Pulaski Citizen Live, where we've come in a very short amount of time, and just got some stuff we want to go over. Let you guys kind of know what we've been doing, what we're going to do in the short term and the long term. Just all kinds of good information about Pulaski Citizen Live. And one of the big things that we're dealing with right now, and one of the reasons we're doing this, is kind of test out our new Pulaski Citizen Live YouTube channel. If you've been keeping up with us on Pulaski Citizen, you know we've had a little run-in with Facebook, and and so we're trying to find ways. I never really wanted to lean on one platform because you kind of put yourself at the risk of losing it. So we're trying to branch out, and the first thing we're doing is trying this YouTube channel for our live video content. Of course, we've got live video content that we'll talk about. We've got live audio content we'll talk about. We've got online. We've got online stuff that we're talking about, and then obviously the print that is the historical print product that is the Pulaski Citizen. So, Wade, first of all, I wanted to talk about our launch.
Yeah.
And just get your thoughts, real quick. Hang on just 1 second, y'all. I forgot to close this door. So talk about the launch, Wade, and how you feel about it now that we look back. Started off in January of this year, really created something out of nothing, and but we, the stars kind of aligned. We needed the technology, we needed the people, we needed the sponsors, and once you came on board, this is something we talked about from the very get-go. And so talk a little bit about how you felt about it.
Yeah, and it's good to be with everybody. I can't say that enough. Anytime we get a chance to interact with our great fan base and community is always a treat, at least in my mind. So
yeah.
Good to see everyone, good to hear from everyone. And yeah, this is kind of a project like Scott touched on that kind of created it a little bit out of thin air, but we kind of knew we had the right pieces in play. We had the right personnel. We had some technology kind of come into our fold that we were anxious and excited about.
Yeah.
So it seemed like the universe just kind of aligned, and we got toward the end of 2021, and we said, hey, why don't we launch this thing with the start of district basketball? Obviously, Giles County basketball, Richland basketball, near and dear to a lot of folks' hearts. And being able to bring the district games, especially considering there was a new district realignment that happened this offseason, being able to kind of bring some new teams in the mix. We had some fan bases that we weren't used to covering on a game-by-game basis. I think it really, honestly, could not have, considering where we came from, which was basically nothing, I really, truly think that we had a great launch, and I think basketball season kind of really did kind of set the tone for what we've got going on and what we are striving to continue toward.
Yeah, and just to go in a little more detail about that, we ended up, we bought the equipment, we got everything set up, we talked to the guys, and I'm going to go through the whole staff here in a little bit, so I'll give everybody their props. But we got to put together a really good crew of guys to call these ball games, and so we put together about a 40-game district schedule, and it was a huge hit. People were coming in droves to listen to us. We had sponsors that really saw what we were doing and really took to it. We got it. They're our charter sponsors. We'll talk more about those guys here in a little bit, because without them, obviously none of this is going on. And of course, I just thought we could go team by team, maybe just real quick, talk a little bit. Like Richland boys had a great season. Went all the way to sectional, am I right? And you guys went over to McKenzie and brought that game. It was a great season for the Richland boys, and really a lot to look forward to for them coming up in next year. So you can, if you want to give them take a minute and talk about what you thought about the Richland boys, and you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the cream of the crop this year in terms of basketball, it proved. We kind of had an inkling after they made the state tournament last year that they would have a pretty good season, and under head coach Jason Lovelace, they thrived again this year. Got all the way to sectionals. had a little bit of a slip up in region play, which made them go on the road.
Right.
And so anytime you go on the road in sectional, it's a mighty tall task. And they had to go into a hostile environment that night, played McKenzie, a team that obviously did make the state tournament, knocking out Richland. But the boys had a great season. You got a kid like Trey Luna, who's a senior, who really just kind of carried the team on his back a lot of games.
Yeah.
You really just got Tyrell Randolph, a senior guard, that kind of was able to shoulder the load. But the cool thing about the covering the Richland boys this season was for that star power that they have with those two seniors, they got a lot of talent coming back next year and in the years to come. So
Yes.
while there might be a little bit of a drop off next year, maybe, you never know. But I think that team's got the building blocks to, as they continue to improve, kind of to maybe see them maybe make another run back in Murfreesboro.
Absolutely, and yeah, I back when I had your job as sports editor, I really enjoyed high school basketball probably as much as anything. And you probably can't see it on here, but yeah, you can. But that you can see that hat above my head. Underneath that hat is a basketball that team that went to the state tournament for Jason Lovett's team back in 2013, I think it was 12. Went and that's one of my prized possessions is that basketball signed by that whole team. So and it really brought back those memories. Now I'm going to mention a few more of these, and I'll just tell you I'm getting old. Can't remember stuff as well as I used to. So Richland girls, I can't remember exactly how far they went, but they also ended up playing pretty good there at the end of the season.
Yeah, and the Richland girls, that was the team that a lot of folks came into this season knew they would do pretty well. Also, they did lose Jessie Jennings, who's that Miss Basketball type player,
right,
in the state at the single A level, but they kind of found their footing. They had
a lot of really young talent.
A lot of young talent. They had an injury to one of their top players midway through the season. They hit a bit of a rough patch, but I think the injury, Coach Chad Hall did a great job of coaching them up. And by the end of the season, they had some role players that were thrust into starting roles, and they kind of found their footing. And that's a team just like the Richland boys. There's a lot of potential for that team and those ladies.
A lot of potential. You had an 8th grader come in and take over the starting.
Bailey Blair
taking over the starting point guard position and absolutely grew into that position more and more every single game. You could just see her getting better. Shelby Higgins was a freshman, so you got 8th grade there, and you got a freshman that was playing at a forward spot, and she played extremely well. And then of course Haley Bass came in and she played well too. I hate to mention one or two because they all played well, but that was just kind of a core of the team that you looked at and you're like, this team's got a lot of upward mobility, to say the least. The Giles County boys, a talented group that really only had a couple seniors on the team, 0 seniors on the team at the most. So that team ended up going to. We went up to Cheatham County and covered them. Mark and I did. And how far did they advance though? They got to the
region.
That was the region
opener. Yeah,
that was the region opener up at Cheatham County. And a lot to look forward to, and of course some question marks now. Now that we know that Coach Holt is not going to be the coach for the boys, we just announced that yesterday. We haven't gotten any kind of official information from the schools or anything. We are reaching out. What we do here at the Pulaski Citizen and Pulaski Citizen Live is we try to make sure that we give information that is official, and we try to talk to the people involved. We've gotten no official statement from the school or the school system, and we're also going to reach out to Coach Holt and see if he has any comment. Right now, nobody does. It's a little early. It's still a little raw. Whatever it is, we really don't know. We just know that the school system's put that up as a job opening, and so we know Coach Holt's not going to be there. We'll get into that later on in the paper and online and on Pulaski Citizen Live. But who's going to be the coach? That's the question. He's got a pretty talented, whoever it is, has got a pretty talented team coming in with Harper and Carden and Dangerfield. I guess he's coming back, right?
Jayceon Coffey,
Mitchell, Clay Mitchell.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Good nucleus
for sure coming. And a lot of those guys will be seniors coming in. So whoever comes in has got a good thing. And then Giles County girls, Missy obviously was a little. They just had lost some really good players the year before, and just did all they could do. And really, they kind of showed out there at the end of the season too. And so all is looking well for our basketball teams, including my last thing on my notes here is the Giles County Youth Basketball League, which I don't know about you. One of my favorite things that we did so far was spent the day with the Giles County Youth Basketball League at their championship day. And you did, if you get the Mixler app, or if you can go to the Mixler app or go to Mixler.com, look up PCL GCHS. I think it was on the Giles County channel. We got two channels. We got a Richland channel and a Giles County High School channel. And I think on that Giles County channel, if you go back towards the end of February, you can pick up that broadcast. It was a day-long broadcast. And Wade talked to some of those kids, and then also some of the organizers, Giles County Youth Basketball League. And I encourage you to go back and listen to some of those interviews that he did during that. The game action was great too, but the interviews were absolutely amazing. And that's the kind of stuff I envisioned whenever I thought about us doing that. So it was a great day. Had fun with those kids, and talking about talent coming up for our high schools and our middle schools. There's a lot of talent coming up, and they're being developed at that youth league, basketball league area. And I also want to thank the coaches for all the teams that we covered. They got together with Chris Bledsoe coordinated with them. They came and got together with us a couple of times at a couple of different restaurants here in town. Sat down with us and just spent an evening talking to us about their teams. Love that. I love that as well. And that's something else we intend to continue to do. So by the end of March, I just want to let you guys know, you guys had listened to PCL more than 7,000 times. Pretty daggum impressive. From the beginning of January to the end of March, 7,000 listeners. And I can't think of a better way for us to have launched than with that kind of action with Giles County basketball. So thank you guys and for supporting and watching, listening to us. We're not doing video as of this point. And just thank you guys for that. And basketball was fun. So immediately we had to transition to spring sports.
Yeah, straight into it.
Right. So spring sports can bring a few challenges. Wade's a former SID up at Martin and / UT Southern. He's dealt with spring sports for a long time now. I've dealt with spring sports, and the weather and the amount of games are two things that kind of make it challenging to schedule scheduler. But we did a really good job. So, and we did Giles County High School softball. We've done Richland softball. We've done Giles County High School baseball, Richland baseball, Giles County High School soccer, Richland soccer, and we've done middle school games. And we've done 15 games. We've done 15 games just in the month of April.
Right.
And that's in 4 weeks. In the month of April, we've done 15. We will have done 15 games by the time Mark does his game tonight that he's doing. Not to mention that's middle school, high school, and everything. And so we're about to head into what I feel like is one of the most exciting times in high school sports is spring sports playoffs. So you got Giles County softball is finished second in their regular season. Richland softball I think is either going to finish first or second in their regular season. Giles County baseball, we just did a game with them. They finished second in their regular season. Richland baseball is looking to finish first or second in their regular season. Giles County soccer, Richland soccer, and then the middle school games. So we're about to embark on a tournament schedule that's going to be outrageous. If Wade, I don't have any hair left, Wade will be pulling his out before it's all over. And you know, people. The thing, I was in the radio for a couple of years, and I know how this works. People get fired up about football and basketball as far as listening to them. People aren't nearly as fired up about spring sports for a lot of reasons. One being that everybody's doing something. Football, you know, a lot of times you're either at the game or the weather's, you know, it's a nighttime thing. Weather's not as good. You're not out and doing as much. You're listening to football, and people are really interested. We all know football's king here, right? But basketball, people get real excited about basketball. You get a lot of listeners. You don't get as many listeners per game for spring sports. You really got the core people that really want to hear about Giles County baseball. They're going to come to listen to that. Core people that really want to hear Richland baseball are going to come listen to that. And so you don't have as many. That's one reason why we tried to put as many games out there as we could. because we want to give everybody a shot at everything. And I feel like we did a good job with it. And man, they're the one thing I'm going to say probably 500 times before we get done with this is we're just getting going on this.
Right.
And there's still a lot for us to do. So when spring sports are over, we're going to transition to what we're going to do next. So that's where we're at now. So what we're going to do next is, as soon as high school and school spring sports are over, we're going to hit those little league parks. We're going to work with those leagues, go down there and try to bring some regular season games from Exchange in Richland Park here in Giles County, here in Pulaski. The Giles County Little League softball, Giles County Little League baseball, traditions here in Giles County that really deserve this kind of highlighting that they've gotten in the past, but they're not getting anymore. And so we're going to bring that to you. And one thing that I didn't mention on the beginning of this is one of the reasons that we did it was because this is a medium that people are listening to now. That was part of the whole reason why we hadn't done it before, is because it wasn't as prevalent. People weren't listening to it as much online. You know, we had the traditional on-air broadcasting, and not as many people were listening to online broadcasting. But the more and more, especially as vehicles start picking up, you feel like I said before, my vehicle picks up my phone, whatever's been on my phone, as soon as I get into it. So people are listening to online broadcasting as much, if not more, than the on-air version of stuff. And that's why we decided to do this, because we knew the audience was out there. We wanted to give them what they want. And the one thing that they want is the kind of stuff that they've known in the past. They've known Richland and Giles County sports. Richland and Giles County baseball, softball, soccer, football, basketball, both schools, you know, and all that stuff. And so that's what we want to do here. They also remember back in the days, I was just talking to George Martin's son, Philip Martin. George Martin, obviously the king of radio in Giles County, and they just gave out his scholarship. And I was talking to Philip Martin the other day when they were giving out the awards, and just talk about Mr. Martin and how important it was. Kyle's got a phone call, by the way.
There we go.
So I was talking to him, and you know, this kind of puts me back in the mind of George Martin. We're going to be down at this Little League ballpark at Exchange Park, historic Exchange Park, been there for 60, 70 years. We're going to be calling ball games from down there. It kind of gives me chill bumps thinking about it. And we're going to do the same thing up at Richland Park for those girls. So that's coming up, and then in the summer. And then, so by the time we get through with the regular season there, and we do the All-Stars, we're going to try to do some All-Stars too, follow them along the way. And then we'll maybe we'll have just a little lull where we can take a breath. You can do the football tab.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
We'll let you do that. So we're going to have our football tab in the Pulaski Citizen is a very popular thing. Also, we're in the Pulaski Citizen. We'll be doing the Fearless Forecasters, and I think the money in the Fearless Core Forecasters is up to like $4,000 or something like that.
Huge amount.
The Fearless Forecasters. Who won Fearless Forecasters last year?
I prefer not to talk about
it. Oh, okay. Well, apparently it wasn't Wade. But anyway, the money that you get for playing in that is gotten up to like $4,200. It builds up every week. So we got that coming. Football season's coming, and people will be fired up about it. And we've got a football schedule that I figure, or fall sports schedule is going to be second to none. Giles County High School football. And we're going to work with them to get a coach's show and bring you every single game of Giles County High School football. Richland High School football. We're going to talk to them, get their coaches involved. Hopefully we can do a coach's show with them. Bring you every game of Richland High School football. And then there's Richland High School girls soccer, Giles County High School girls soccer, and Richland girls soccer. Bridgeforth, South Giles, and RMS. All those have football. I don't know if they all have girls soccer, but at least a couple of them have girls soccer. So we're going to bring you a fall schedule that like you've never, nobody in Giles County has seen this kind of broadcast schedule, and that's what we're going to do. Which brings us to how another reason that we're able to do this was our charter sponsors. Now, a couple of these guys aren't on with us for the spring, but they're still our charter sponsors.
They're there.
These guys came on either in June or March, and there will be no more charter sponsors. These guys are the charter sponsors. And so we want to say thank you to each and every one of them. We'll name each one of them. And we can even talk about a couple of them if you want. But like who are doing some specialty stuff like maybe M&M Staffing and Haney Financial. But as we move forward, we're going to continue to build these relationships with these sponsors and others, and really get the word out. People are noticing who these guys are. I've had them come to me and tell me that their sponsorships with us have helped them out. And I will say this: when you sponsor our online broadcasting or stuff or Pulaski Citizen Live stuff, you don't just live in Pulaski Citizen Live. You live in the newspaper.
Yep.
You live in PulaskiCitizen.com. You live online. You live in the Pulaski Citizen Live, both some sports and, if you decide to, even in our community events that we can talk about too. So, Allsup and Associates, Bank of Frank Ewing, First Realty Group, Giles County Fire and Rescue, Haney Financial, Haney Realty and Property Management, Holly's Printing, M&M Staffing LLC, PES Energized, Soda Pop Junction, and Winterburn and Associates Insurance, all our charter sponsors.
Great group.
Great group of folks, great to work with, and like I said, we're just getting started with them as well.
Yeah, and like you touched on, we couldn't do this. I mean, literally financially couldn't do this if we didn't have the support of the sponsors. And honestly, the sponsors kind of help trickle the word out in the community as well.
Yeah.
They've been proud supporters.
It was a two-way street.
Exactly. They've been pushing us. We've been pushing them. We're excited to partner with, like you mentioned, Haney Financial Solution. One of my good friends, Mr. Josh Haney, he said, hey, I've never really done anything like this, but I know kind of what it means to the community, and I want to be involved. Right. And he signed on in the blink of an eye and has continued to work with us.
Yeah, he sponsored like the assist of the game in basketball. He's done the web gym, the defensive play of the game in baseball and softball. And so, Josh has been. M&M was our first sponsor. John Harper and Missy Harper at M&M Staffing LLC. They were one of our first sponsors, and they've been sponsoring the 3-pointer of the game and also the strikeout of the game for our local teams. All these guys. I hate to pick on one or two. Banker Frank Ewing came on. We were just proud to have all of them. Allsup and Associates. Giles County Fire and Rescue came on in March. Yeah. And they've had a lot of good results. People have been going, and a lot of what they're trying to do is just bring recognition to what those great folks at the Giles County Fire and Rescue. I mean, I've been covering Giles County for 20-something years, 27 years now, Wade. A lot of what I did early on was going to wrecks, going to fires, and I know how hard and how much these guys do to provide the services they do for nothing. I mean, they get zero out of it as far as money goes. They don't get a penny out of it. And I will never be able to tell you guys exactly how hard it is that they work and how much I've seen that they do. And I just want to say that I'm proud to have them on just about as much as anybody else. And proud to know that they're getting some action, some donations, and some people talking to them possibly about joining up and stuff through that. And of course, PES Energized was one of them. Holly's Printing's jumped on in March. Haney Realty Property Management, Daniel. Yep. He said, I want to do whatever you want to do. Yeah, whatever you're doing, he says, whatever you're doing. First Realty Group, Robert Jr. has been the same. Soda Pop Junction is celebrating their 25th year. Of course, Johnny's part of our staff here. Johnny Phelps owns Soda Pop Junction. He was on just like that. We really appreciate these guys. And so you got Pulaski Citizen, you got PulaskiCitizen.com, Pulaski Citizen Live, you got print, online, and audio visual. I mean, we are really starting to tie all these things together, and we're going to hopefully make some big announcements coming up in the very near future about everything and how all that's coming together and how we're able to cover Giles County better in so many different ways. We are literally not just a newspaper anymore. We are proud to be the Pulaski Citizen. Don't get me wrong. 1854 to today, Pulaski Citizen has been here. Solid, traditional, and we still have plenty of people that want to see that newspaper, want to hold that newspaper in their hand, and we're proud as we can be to continue to do that. We've added PulaskiCitizen.com. It actually used to be GilesNews.com. We transitioned it to PulaskiCitizen.com. Yep. So we've been building. We've had a website for this newspaper since back in the early 2000s, and it's transitioned into what it is today, which is obviously the further you move on, the better it is. So it's the best product in that area that we've had so far, and I really love what PulaskiCitizen.com has and can do. And on there, you can actually get the newspaper in an e-edition. You don't have to hold the newspaper in your hand. You can look at it on your screen if that's what you prefer. And so, really excited about that. And of course, while we've been talking about Pulaski Citizen Live, we're just getting started and have been fired up with the response of everybody. So we want to thank everybody, all of our readers, all of our viewers, all of our listeners, for embracing what we're trying to build.
For sure.
So I'm not going to be able to. We're going to kind of wrap this up. Appreciate everybody, whoever, if you made it this far.
Yeah, tip of the cap to you.
I want to do this because I can't do this without shouting out our amazing staff. And if I leave anybody out, it's not because I don't love you. It's just because my brain is addled at this point in the afternoon. Carrie Malone, Wade Neely. This is mainly our newspaper / news staff.
Yep.
Newspaper, Pulaski Citizen, PulaskiCitizen.com staff. Carrie Malone, Wade Neely, Kelly Garrett, Rebecca Brooks, Barbara Harmon, Chandler Harmon, Margaret Campbell, Katie Whitfield, Johnny Phelps. And then our streaming broadcast team would be Wade, Mark Mize, Cody Derberry, Chris Bledsoe, Colton Hood, and Alex Lambert. And, I'd just like to tell everybody thank you and strap in because we are just now getting rolling. And the things that we're going to try to get done are just as amazing as starting this thing out of nothing back in January.
Right. Yeah, I mean, starting from scratch was a task in and of itself, but now we've kind of established that base. And like my old boss, Mr. Jeff Bain, likes to say, what can we do now to take it to the next level?
Yeah.
We've set the standard now, and we want to take it to an even higher playing field.
And just know that our goal is to give you what you want, the news, the information, the action that's going on in Giles County in as many different ways as we can, so that we can get it to as many different people as we can. Because our job and part of our job is to connect our sponsors with our listeners, and that's really that's the basis of what we do. That's the only reason. That's the reason if you go take a journalism 101 course or history of journalism, the reason these newspapers ever started, the reason any of this stuff that we have is a commercial thing. We're people there's information, and then there's people that want to get their information to you. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
The beauty of it is you can get what you want out of that whole system, and that's what we're trying to give everybody. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Wade. We stopped by to do this because we've had a few problems with our live streaming over on Facebook. Probably going to move away from that as quickly as possible. This is almost a practice run, if you will, for our live YouTube channel, and we're probably going to do a few other things that to keep us from being too dependent on any of it. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can contact me at Scott@PulaskiCitizen.com. You can contact Wade at PulaskiCitizen.com. You can hit us up on Facebook. And I don't look at Twitter that much. Wade's got a Twitter access or got on Twitter a lot, so you can pick him up there. Or you can come by the newspaper or catch us when we're out. We also do, just so you know, we're going to do live video. Continue to do that. I've picked up doing the Giles County Commission meetings, Pulaski City Council meetings. I did some Giles County Fire and Rescue stuff a couple of weeks back where they were doing some extrication stuff. That was pretty cool, but we lost that. I'm afraid we lost all that with our Facebook problems, but that's okay. But also, like tomorrow, we've got the James Brown historical marker is going to be unveiled at the Giles County Courthouse. We're going to be live there. We're going to bring it to you live. I hope to be able to get down in the powwow that's coming up this weekend down at the Ag Park. Hope to bring a little bit of live action from that. And so we also encourage you, if you got something that you think you'd like for us to be there for your live event, give us a call. I mean, we're open to everything. That's part of the beauty of starting something from the new.
Yeah.
You don't have any rules. We're ready to and willing to try to do just about anything. So give us a call, and thank you guys. And don't forget to listen to us on Pulaski Citizen Live. All right.